This trade is in the A period. And if I remember correctly, basically 100% of the overnight inventory was short here. So I was looking for, I was already looking for a little bit of a, retracement of that. As we pushed up really strong there at the open, you can see the delta starting to kick in. We come back, we retested that 920 level, which is also right at the ledge of that big profile there. That's about where they should catch it if they wanted to continue, going across this profile. You had the overnight low, or I'm sorry, the low from yesterday, which is that red line on a TPO chart there. We already hit the session VWAP real quick. Like I said, if they were going to catch it, it would be at about this 920 level. And I know that they're interested in that. And that's also, like I said, that's the edge of that bigger profile there. So it just made sense that, that's what they were trying to do. So I like this video just because it shows the reclaiming of these different levels and kind of how I'm watching for continuation through this trade. So you can see we've already taken over the POC now. Now we're getting up to that session VWAP. And if I had more than one contract, I would definitely take one right in here. That's about 30 ticks. I usually try to take one at about 26, 27 ticks. But with one contract and the way the delta was kind of pushing through there and the way they're catching these different levels. So this is the RTH VWAP, this dot line. And if they didn't catch it, I would just be out of the trade. But they ended up, I thought they would catch it at the POC. They didn't, but they're catching it right here at the, like I said, this is the RTH VWAP. The dash dot line is the session VWAP that we've already, come off from. And I moved that stop down just because I wanted to try and stay in this. I moved it up a little prematurely, but I wanted to try and stay in this as long as I can because I thought that they were trying to look at that delta even, they're trying to get back into yesterday's range. So they would need to overtake the low from yesterday as well and that VWAP. So it was worth it to me to see if they could do this, because if they could get over that and then come back and retest that low from yesterday, there's a good chance that they would push higher into yesterday's range, or they would want to stay into yesterday's range. So that gives you a little bit of insight into what they want to do. If they get rejected out of here, if it moves up to that POC and then totally rejects and pushes back down below, it's a good sign they want to trade lower. But here they're overtaking that low from yesterday. Now they shouldn't necessarily be below that. They might come down and test it. It might test below a little bit. That's why I moved that stop up into that area. Plus we're getting higher in ticks, so I'm okay. I'm still okay if they take me out right here, but I'm protecting it a little bit more than I would, if it's only 5 ticks or something. That's why I moved that stop down there earlier. So here they should test this low right there, which is what I'm pointing out. So that's a sign that they're, it's some intent that they're okay being in this range from yesterday. Now I know that this 930 is a level that they're interested in too, because you can see even on the 5-minute chart earlier in the overnight session, you can see how they shorted it there on that second move up. So now that we're over this, they shouldn't necessarily let this go below that low from yesterday. Obviously they can, but if they defend it, they want to stay in it. If you lose it, I want to be out of my trade, and they probably don't want this. They don't want to be in yesterday's range. Right, here's the pullback. You can see them testing it. And this is A period, so this stuff's a little bit more volatile, which is why I'm only trading one contract. So, it's not as exact, but you can see how some of these, that one in the RTH VWAP, that was a little loose, but right here, look how that pulls right back to that level, and they defended that. That's the low on the 5-minute chart that I just pointed out. And again, if it breaks here, takes me out, that's fine. But it doesn't. That's where it should catch it. So the next level is, can we overtake this 930 level? And my ultimate goal would be getting back to that. You can see that low volume node that I have highlighted there. And then you have the VA high, which is the green line that the arrow is pointing at. So your volume area high from today. That's in this A period, that's going to be pretty extended. You got the low volume node, you got the VA high there. I've only got one contract. By the time I get up into this area, that's about 40 contracts. So that's, 40 ticks. So that's about 10 points. So all of those things added up, I'll just take it there. And again, if I would have had multiple contracts, I would have already taken one at that low. That's a significant level that you wanted to watch. And I would have taken one contract right there. But because of how strong this was pushing up, and look at that delta, how strong that is, I was trying to, and they were reclaiming these levels pretty distinctly. I was okay, moving it up. And then obviously as we get this high, like I said, I start protecting once it gets, I'm not going to protect 5 ticks. It doesn't make any sense. But now that we're, this is, we're up to about 37 ticks, I start protecting these. And as we get into that low volume node up there, you can see it on the 5-minute chart. It's a little easier to see. I give it a chance to push to that. And then I just bring the order down, close it out right there. And that was about 42 ticks.